Hello friends, you're watching NFL Daily presented by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. I am your host Tom Downey. With the 2018 NFL season over, welcome to draft season officially now for all 32 teams, although most of them were already in draft season. So we'll take a look now at my latest 2019 NFL mock draft. The draft order for the first round totally finalized until we get to trades at some point during the draft process. So #1 overall, it's the Arizona Cardinals. I've got them taking Nick Bosa. Now, Arizona, I'm sure would like to try to trade down, even just a few spots, acquire more draft picks, because frankly, that roster needs some help. And I think Nick Bosa is the top prospect in this year's class. If you want to pound the table for a guy like Quinnen Williams as well, I totally understand that, but you always need pass rushers. And yes, Bosa played in only 3 games this year, but he does remind me quite a bit of Joey Bosa. I am all aboard Arizona, adding the younger Bosa here, in round 1 and adding to that defense. At #2 overall, it's the San Francisco 49ers. I've got them taking Josh Allen, another edge rusher out of Kentucky. While I think Quinnen's a better player than Josh Allen, need does matter at a certain extent, and if I'm the 49ers, I don't want to add another interior defensive lineman. In reality, I think you've got 4 or 3 of them already. You have DeForest Buckner, you have Eric Armstead, you have Solomon Thomas. You can play one of them outside defensive end, you can't play both. Get a true disruptive edge guy. That's Josh Allen, coming off a monster year for Kentucky, 21.5 tackles for loss and 17 sacks against SEC play. He is a very good edge rusher. I will be stunned if he is not a surefire top 5 pick once we get to April and the actual NFL draft. Do you guys like NFL draft coverage? Well, then you have to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv. We will have all kinds of draft coverage for you guys. We'll break down the combine. I'll do positional ranks as well, and of course, plenty of mock drafts, and you gotta know it, a live draft show once we get to April. So go subscribe now, youtube.com/chatsportstv. If you're watching on YouTube, well, just hit that subscribe button. #3 overall, it's the New York Jets, and I don't love this fit. I do have the player, but not so much the fit. Now, Quinnen Williams had a monster breakout year. If you want to argue he's the best player, I get it in this year's class. He will draw some #1 overall pick consideration. The Jets do have bigger needs, namely, I think, helping out Sam Darnold or getting a true edge rusher. But maybe they take Quinnen or try and trade down, and then they trade away Leonard Williams. Wouldn't be the first time Mike McGackins added a defensive lineman. He seems to love those types of players. The value makes sense. That's a very Jets GM type philosophy there. And if you trade the other Williams, one currently on the roster, you maybe get a second-round pick back, which you lack from the Sam Darnold trade. You can still fill needs that way, and you get younger and cheaper up front. To my least favorite pick in the top 5, it's the Oakland Raiders. And it's not a knock on the team, but I don't have a great feel for what they'll do if Bosa, Allen, and Quinnen are all off the boards. I'll go ahead and mock them Brian Burns. Look, they need a pass rusher. I think everyone in the world knows that, even if you don't follow football. And Burns is a little bit on the thin side, 235, but he has the frame, I think, to add more weight. Was very productive this year for FSU, and he strikes me as the type of edge rusher or interior defensive lineman, I'll group them both together, that's going to have a strong combine. I will not be surprised if somebody does really, really well at the combine and vaults themselves up into that #4 role among the interior and edge rushers in this year's class. So if Bosa, Allen, and Quinnen Williams are all off the board, Oakland fans, or I guess Bay Area fans since you're moving again, who should the Raiders take at #4 overall? Let me know in the comments section. Open to all kinds of names. I thought about the LSU guys, Devin White, Greedy as well. And I'll throw out another name here. If he does as well as some think he's going to at the NFL Combine, I think Rashawn Gary could actually be a fit at #4 for the Oakland Raiders. #5, halfway through the top 10, Jonah Williams out of Alabama. Don't overthink it. I think the NFL is going to overthink it. I will not be surprised if he goes later than he should, because NFL is going to see, you know what? He's not a freak athlete. There are some length concerns around him, even though he's technically sound. Some teams are going to think that Jonah is a left guard or a right guard and not a left tackle. Look, the dude was fantastic week in, week out. Yeah, some ups and downs, as all college players have, at left tackle for Alabama. Don't overthink it. Keep him right there. So the Bucs, they take him, replace Donovan Smith, upgrade that offensive line. I'm a big fan of him. I think he should absolutely be the first offensive lineman off the board. If he comes in with short arms at the combine, though, don't be surprised if he ends up sliding a bit. Now, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. They're the internet's #1 sportsbook. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code LIVE120 for a 120% deposit bonus when you sign up. So you put down $50 and they're going to give you $60 for free. Put down $100 and that becomes $120. But if you guys use Bitcoin, that bonus gets even bigger, a 150% deposit bonus there. Now, if you guys don't know Bitcoin, aren't familiar with it, we got you covered. DM us on Twitter @ChatSports, and we'll help you guys out and get you that extra bonus money to bet with on BetDSI. To number 6, the New York Giants. I've got them taking Dwayne Haskins out of Ohio State. Now, I will be honest, I don't like this year's quarterback class. I really don't. Giants need a franchise quarterback because Eli Manning, he's not it. It's not Kyle Lauletta, by the way, either. Certainly not Alex Trickshot Tanny. Haskins will likely be the #1 quarterback given Kyle Murray's not true commitment at this point. Put up fantastic numbers for Ohio State. Now, there are plenty of concerns around Haskins. Pressure's one of them. I did not think he took many shots deep downfield, partially by scheme. I think partially he didn't really fully trust the deep ball. I think he'll be a good quarterback. I don't know if he's ever going to be a top 10 guy. So I ask you, is Dwayne Haskins worth a top 10 pick? Type Y for yes, type N for no. On my board, he is not going to get a top 10 pick grade. Frankly, he's not going to get a first-round grade either, but we know quarterbacks always rise. It's a bad class. If Dwayne Haskins can be a Nick Foles-level quarterback who's super cheap on his first-year deal with room to grow, I will not be surprised if, and I think when, you see a team make a move for Haskins in the top 10. Another quarterback-needy team, it's the Jags. I won't mock them a quarterback yet. We'll just pretend that Nick Foles signs or gets traded there, which I do think actually does go down. How about Ed Oliver? Now, the Jags could easily cut Malik Jackson and Marcel Darius, which maybe they should. And I am a big Ed Oliver fan, and there's been a lot of anti-Oliver buzz as of late. Some people in the national media on NFL.com want to move him to linebacker, like inside linebacker, which I don't really think makes any sense. But the point there being, he's a really good athlete. He's a bit of a freak athlete. I like Ed Oliver there. Now, he's not really going to be 292, probably going to be closer to like 6'1", 270, somewhere in that range. He's just not going to be that big of a guy in reality. But I still think he's one of the top prospects in this year's class. Jacksonville can go target some offensive help, be it tight end, receiver, whatever, early in round 2 as well. At number 8, a big riser for me, TJ Hockenson out of Iowa. Thought about edge rusher here, thought about Hockenson to number 7 as well. He is going to be a round 1 pick. I think he's a really good blocker and a very solid athlete as well. Iowa is now tight end U. Hockenson is a heck of a player. If I am a team that needs a tight end, he's my number 1 guy. His range will be interesting. I could honestly see it being in the top 10 to all the way barely at the end of round 1, depending on if teams need a tight end or not. Been plenty of recent high-round picks spent on the position. And Detroit, I know you're a little bit skittish there because of what's happened in years past. Brandon Pettigrew, Eric Ebron, they all, come to mind as recent Lions issues in terms of draft picks. So Lions fans in particular, grade this mock draft pick, A, B, C, D, or F. If you all hate it, I'll change it next time around, but let me know. I like Hockenson a lot. I know you guys need edge rusher too. Maybe end up signing Trey Flowers instead. Now guys, I am wearing a Mizzen and Main shirt. They make me look just passable enough to be able to be on air. Just think what they could do for you. Go check them out. Comfortable.af is the site. You guys are not going to find a more comfortable dress shirt, or any shirt really, than a Mizzen and Main one. To number 9 we go. I've got Cody Ford out of Oklahoma to the Buffalo Bills. If I'm Buffalo, yeah, you could maybe use another edge rusher or defensive lineman or maybe even a cornerback. But you got to get better help for Josh Allen, right? He was in a rough spot this year. I thought at times made the most of it. Now, Ford can play right tackle or kick inside. I'd keep him at right tackle. The NFL's consistent desire to take tackles and put them at guard, I think it's, over the top sometimes for them. You can still get a wide receiver early in round 2, so maybe someone like DK Metcalf isn't the choice in the top 10. I like Ford a lot. I thought he had a very good season for Oklahoma, first team All Big 12, although we know those can be a bit iffy. But I like the idea of Ford to the Bills helping solidify the pocket for Josh Allen. Speaking of quarterbacks, number 10, Drew Lock to the Broncos. This one has had so much buzz already, I'm actually starting to doubt it. Like, everyone and their brother says, oh, the Broncos love Drew Lock, which almost makes me feel like Denver is just pushing that out to hide their true intentions. Now, I still think Lock makes sense. I think he fits as a John Elway type quarterback, and I think Denver is indeed high on them. Now, Lock had a bit of a rough go for the middle part of the year, starting around the start of SEC play, didn't fare all that well. And then right around that Memphis-Florida game, somewhere in that range, things started to click a little bit more for Drew Lock. Most importantly, the completion percentage went up this year. Had long been an issue, in large part due to his footwork problems, but I liked what I saw as the year went on from Drew Lock. Upsides there, risky for sure. Reminds me a lot of a Derek Carr in many ways. If you want to go back even further, a Jay Cutler, I think, also ends up making sense there. That's kind of where I sit on Drew Lock. He's not going to get a round one grade from me, but if you're desperate for a franchise quarterback, you could do a lot worse than taking a flyer on Lock, even if it is in the top 10. All right, let's recap the top 10 picks here. Nick Bosa, Josh Allen, Quinnen Williams at number 3, Brian Burns, Jonah Williams at number 5, very common theme there, Dwayne Haskins, and then maybe I'm going off the road here a little bit, let me know if I am, Ed Oliver, TJ Hockenson, Cody Ford, and Drew Lock.